Hi guys, and welcome to the City Chats on Elegbete TV. My name is Indafi Matthew Esiogene, and I have wonderful panelists from across the globe and all walks of life. I have an economist here, I have a sports analyst, music producer, I have a sports reporter, I have an OAP, I have a talk show host, I have a cybersecurity expert, I have a financial analyst, everything here. As a matter of fact, everybody here, we can go start our own country, and a country that is COVID-free actually, because we're all COVID-free. So should give us a piece of land somewhere and we'll go start our country. Guys, you're welcome to the City Chat, and I'm gonna go from one end to the other. I have with me Ayotunde Onobolu as well. For me, the best basketball analyst that I know. And adding to that cap is a fantastic keyboardist, or pianoist, organist, whatever you call it. And he's also a very fantastic music producer. I have the best sports statistician that I've seen in recent times, Precious Omosuwe. Just wave your hand there, let's see you, like we do in church. And then the guy who made me fall in love with boxing from a different perspective, that gave me a different view to boxing, made boxing look appealing and sexy. He's looking a bit tired, he's overworked, but when it comes to boxing, you will know that he knows his onion. Oluwatobi Dada, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And a top-class radio presenter, currently with Max FM. I'm talking about Dumebi, Princess Agu. She's also the CEO of DM Royals, a fantastic ushering company for plus-size ladies. And the best grassroots reporter that I know as well, Emmanuel Sebastian. He works with Niger footballers. They are the organizers of the Ballers Award, and he's been a great guy. He helped us last season to bring through League and quite a lot of players in that league to the limelight, and we're happy to have him here. And I have the talk show host, the host of Sweet Scoop, as well as Precious Moment on Elegbete TV, Precious Omori, who happens to double as the CEO of GPF Media and also co-founder of the company alongside myself and a few others. You're welcome to the chat.
Good evening, everybody.
Let's hit the ground running. I don't want to believe that is how you talk, Precious Amori, but let's hit the ground running. Lessons are learned every day. They say we live and we learn. So the day we stop learning, that's the day we start dying. So I'm going to start with you, Precious Amori. What has life taught you in this period of the COVID-19 since we've been on the lockdown? And you have 2 minutes on that.
Okay, I've learned so many things, and one of the things I have learned from this whole coronavirus isolation thing is that, you know, the things Hadassah said on Sweet School, one of our segments, when she said cooking is a survival skill. It's not supposed to be a woman's thing and one or the other. No, this period while we've been indoors, we've been in our different houses, I'm somehow thinking in my head, those people who don't know how to cook, how they're surviving and stuff. So one thing I've learned is it is very important for us as individuals, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, for all of us to learn how to cook. It's very important. It makes you save a lot of money. You know, not everybody right now. Nobody is in a restaurant cooking somewhere where you can say you want to stroll out, you know, to buy something to eat. So cooking is very important. There's another thing I also learned too is that it's very important for us to wash our hands. It's not only when we have a pandemic or when a disaster happens or when something that has to do with a disease or an infection happens that we need to learn to wash our hands. We should always keep our environment and keep our hands very clean. Whether the isolation is over or the coronavirus is over, we should just make it a day-to-day lifestyle. And also another thing I also learned too this period of the COVID-19 isolation is that we take certain certain occupation for granted, which is the doctors, the people, the cleaners, because as we all are inside our various houses trying to isolate ourselves, you know, keep social distancing, the doctors that we take for granted are that most times in our country like Nigeria are underpaid. They are the one doing the magic outside. They are the one who are outside. They left their wives, they left their family in the house, and they're out there trying to save people's lives. So I think, or I've learned that doctors and security people, police officers, soldiers should be well paid and should be appreciated anytime, any day. When you see them when you see those police people in the sun trying to like make things right, we should try and appreciate them. It's not easy, and also we should try as much as possible to appreciate our doctors, and they should be well paid. Then I think lastly, nature is one beautiful thing that we take for granted. We should appreciate nature.
All right, thank you very much, Precious Murray. You're talking about appreciating nature. I live very close. I mean, when we move into this place, my kids ask me, Daddy, why did you move us to the jungle? So we kind of like appreciate nature. But I know that in a couple of years' time, now all these trees and everything will be cut down and people build houses there. But before they come to do that, I would enjoy it. But I want to go to a man who made me fall in love with boxing, who made me see the money side of boxing, the friendship outside of the ring, and the whole thing that comes about the event and how it all comes together. I'm talking about Oluwatobi Dada. There are matches that were lined up, fights that were lined up for this calendar year. By now, we'll be preparing for Anthony Joshua and his opposition. We should be talking about the trilogy of Tyson Fury and the guy who carried Egungun Masquerade and all that. But now we don't know where we stand. And then even if post COVID-19, are those fights going to come up? Since everybody is broke now, there's no money. Are people going to pay to see those games? Can you help us make sense of it, the fight itself, and then the financial side?
Boxing is in for a very tough time, no doubt about that, because of this the pandemic. However, it's something that was unplanned for, and we will all have to deal with it. Boxing fans like me, we are very, very, I'm not happy. And the boxers themselves, they are not happy. They just want to fight. And they found other means to fight. Like you see Tyson Fury trying to clown Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, and Deontay Wilder. That all these champions, they are rubbish. They have been defeated. I am the only one standing left here undefeated. So just trying to throw tantrum, just trying to get them to talk. And you also see people like Harold Spence talking about Terence Crawford that I'm going to punish him. He knows the fight can be made now, so he can talk. Then so many of them. Regis Prograis is telling at the end that he wants to fight. That they should take them to a private island like Dana White of the UFC wants to do, and they should set up these fights so they can lock on. However, everybody knows that that will not be possible. Anyone that does that in the boxing side is going to get a lot of stick. So Eddie Hearn has talked, and he has said that he's going to try as much as possible to line up his best fight immediately after the pandemic. And the reason he said that, which I agree with, is that after the pandemic, after the lockouts measures have been eased, it's going to be people are going to come out with a lot of money, and they want to just have a good time after being locked up for a long while. So it's better you quickly grab this money from them by lining up your best shows that will entice them before they face some few months of brokenness. However, it's still going to be extremely tough because it will mean that promoters will have to line up their best fighters with lots of undercard. So you see top fighters like Canelo, Anthony Joshua having as much as 10 undercard fights before them and 15 undercard fights before them, because the promoters know if they don't line up these best fighters with all these other fights, a main event with these other fights will not attract any money. So they will just be losing the funds that they were meant to have invested somewhere else. And for the UFC, Dana White is actually a very, very stubborn person because he knows he has lost a lot of money. This is someone that makes close to 100 mil per week, hosting shows all over the world. And this pandemic has come to play, and most countries certainly are frowning at the idea of even hosting fights behind closed doors. And Khabib Ferguson, for example, which was lined up for later this month, Khabib had to pull out because he wasn't assured of his safety as regards the COVID-19 virus. So he had to pull out, and Dana White, very stubborn, has set up another fight with Ferguson, which is versus Justin, which will take place on the same date in a private island in the US. I don't know if the US government is going to move to stop that. It's something that promoters are not used to, and also the fighters. And but hopefully, after this pandemic, we'll still get to see Anthony Joshua Pulev. We still get to see Dillian White versus Povetkin. We still get to see Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 3, which is lined up for um, sometimes in October. And also, we also like to see Teofimo versus Vasily Lomachenko. That's a very good fight that was slated before for May 30th, but will have to be postponed because of the pandemic also.
All right, thank you very much, Toby Dada, for that one. Would have loved to go to Precious Omosuwe, but I want to go to my OAP, Princess. Maybe you're always on social media. You're on Facebook, giving your opinion, dancing, washing plates, cooking. I mean, you own the social media space right now, and I'm happy for you. I mean, you've been able to come out of your shell and you're taking over social media. So you obviously will be the best social media observer that we have right now. What have you noticed on social media? Because I saw you the other day fighting the people who were dragging Funke Akindele, and then I saw AY being dragged back and front. They tied him to a couple of cars and they were dragging him, pulling him everywhere. I myself, I also dragged Pastor Chris Oyakilome for daring to say the things that he said about 5G and coronavirus. I cannot even relate with as a science student. But you must have noticed quite a few things. What are the things that you've noticed?
Yes, well, like you just said, a few things that have happened on social media as regards to coronavirus, and lots of drama that surrounded Funke Akindele, the party, and the government. Courts, people appearing in court when you're actually not practicing what you preach. So, in as much as they've given them a fine and told them 14 days community service, those that were at the court that day, I feel like they also deserve to be fined too. That's what I think. It's my opinion anyway. And of course, another thing that I saw on social media is the Corona beer. Yes, I'm sure some of you must have seen the Corona beer. It's actually
there's some picture about that Corona beer that I saw. I saw in one fridge, Heineken bottles hiding from Corona beer. They were wearing nose masks. That's crazy.
Yeah, so the Corona beer is a talk about, it's talk about bad luck right now for this particular beer. Since it came out as that when what's it called, the coronavirus, it became worse in January this year, yes. And that beer, before coronavirus, before we all knew what it was, a lot of people were patronizing it. But right now, as I speak, and according to YouGov, it's a British market research firm, yes, they've come out to say that the brand has dropped from 75 to 51 since the beginning of 2020. So, of course, right now is definitely bad market for this beer right now, because a lot of people will not want to go near that beer, even though it's not, you can't, contact the virus from it. And of course, another beer thing that I saw on the internet was a clergy, yes, the clergyman, a self-proclaimed expert in the Islamic medicine. He goes by the name Ayatollah Tabrizian. That's his name. He's from Iran. And of course, he's come out to say some certain things. He tweeted it on Twitter. He's saying that that's the man, if you can see him from your screen. He's come out to say that the following things, if you do the following things, you can avoid contacting the coronavirus. And the first thing he said that is comb your hair thoroughly. So if you're telling me to comb my hair thoroughly, what about those that have dada, or those that have, like you, that you have, and Emmanuel Sebastian too. So you say comb your hair thoroughly to avoid coronavirus, and eat lots of apples and onions too. I don't know, I know some people that don't even like seeing a drop of onions in their food. So he's come out to say that you can eat lots of apples and onions. And one thing that caught my eye was him saying you should dip a cotton ball of oil and insert it in your hand.
Now come back again, please. You dip a cotton board. As in, I want to understand. You mean cotton board like this?
Yes, a cotton ball.
And then,
a cotton ball.
hypothetically, this is a bottle of oil. I should dip it in it, bring it out, and put it in my down below.
And insert it in your hand.
The things that they smoke in that Iran, eh?
A lot of things. If I could go on and on about things that I've seen on social media.
Please don't go on again.
Okay, well, let me stop here.
All right. At this point, please let me do a disclaimer here, so you don't say you watch it on this show and then you decide to practice it. Please, if you live in America or Europe, it is what the CDC prescribe, you should follow. Live in Nigeria, it is what the NCDC prescribe that you should follow. It's not National Civil Defense, so not the organ at the top. NCDC Center. Please, that's the one that the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. That's the one you should follow. Anything about cotton board and oil and the certain, that's another thing for another day. We are working here. One of the things that I've learned, they keep saying that you can't do church from home. Behold, how good it is for brethren to do it together in unity. Well, we've seen that the word right now, united we stand does not work. Everybody stand on your own. If whatever say united, it should be 6 meters away. So I've also learned that we can work from home, like we're doing right now. I'm in my visitors room doing this, and everybody's in their own living room, bedroom, whatever they have. So I want to go to a man who's really been ahead of the time. He's learned to work from home before now, even though he used to work in the office. Precious Amosuwe, what have you learned, within this period? They used to say that if you work from home, you will not be able to deliver on target. You'll not be able to be distracted. What have you learned from human behavioral pattern as it relates to working from home in this period?
Okay, first of all, I think I would like to appreciate the electricity distribution companies for giving me the perfect precursor for this particular talk. I came across a publication from Business Day magazine in 2018 where they said the average 9-to-5 worker in Lagos loses 75% of their weekly productive hours to commuting, and that's majorly because of the traffic in Lagos State. Okay, I, like you had mentioned, used to work in an office, in a physical office, but now it's much more virtual. And I know that personally, I used to spend between 4 to 5 hours. That's on a very, very good day to traffic.
And you can traffic you used to deal with. That's the Ikorodu Expressway traffic.
I'm telling you, that's what I had to deal with. I remember one of the days I was still in traffic while somebody who left Ikorodu to Benin City called and told me that she had arrived in Benin already. Okay, so so I think one of the major positives from this whole thing is the fact that we can actually work from home. We do not need everybody, not everybody who goes to the office actually has to be at the office. Say, for example, there are a couple of guys, especially those of us in the IT sector, who can actually do a lot of things from home. I'm an IT person. I work from my house, okay? And I support a software that is domiciled in the US. That's what IT can do for you. And a lot of these other tech guys can also, the tech companies can allow their guys to do the same. I know a couple of guys in some payment processing companies, I don't want to give them cheap adverts, okay, who are working from the comfort of their homes presently. It's just about opening our minds to the possibilities that technology affords us. I mean, we're having this conversation. This is work we're doing, sensitizing people, okay, on this platform. And it's actually real time. Ayo is in the US. Toby, you are in a different part of the town, and we're not losing any downtime talking about it. So it means if we open our eyes, open our minds to the possibilities that technology offers us, we can do a lot more. I'll use myself as a practical example as I conclude quickly. Normally before, it used to be 9 o'clock to say 5 p.m. And then you have this walk clock in the office. You are watching and waiting for when it's 5 p.m. So you carry your bag and get out of the office.
Okay.
But now, Yeah, I resume work say around 8, and I don't even know when it's midnight because I'm in my house. I know I don't have to face traffic. I'm much more productive, and then I have 1 hour break. You see, work becomes fun. You don't have to dread Monday morning anymore, and then you become a more productive person. Everybody wins.
Yeah, and talking about that, because I practice it, I practically convert my visitors room to my office. Precious Omori, you can attest to that. I brought in a few of the equipment that I have to this place. One other thing I've noticed is actually you work longer time working from home. You know, you
Yeah,
work
very correct.
because you're not in a hurry. That time that you will spend in traffic, going to work and coming back, you spend it doing the job. But having said that, let me bring us back to sports because our life and our business is really tied to sports. And the biggest losers, the people that started losing in this COVID-19 issue, were sports. The EPF, for instance, still battling whether they should return the TV 730 million pounds TV rights balance of the season and then void the season, but they're finding a way to make sure they play the season so that they don't have to return that money. You know, so many things. We talk about humanity coming first, but then we also saw that the Lagos state government was very proactive in reacting to the party that was held at Amen Estate. And I always say that sometimes laws are made against the rich, and then sometimes laws are made for the rich. That's the belief I've always had growing up. Some things, the rich people are above the law, but sometimes too, they are rich people that they also use to set example. So between offense and the speed to trial of Funke Akindele was very fast. And then I'm asking myself, is everybody really keeping to social distancing? Because AY in his tweet asked a comment that hope when some other people do it, they will not say anything. And then I start hearing whispers that in Ajegule, life is going on normal. So I'm forced to ask Emmanuel Sebastian, what is the situation like in Ajegule? I don't want to be here in Aja and speculate. You are in Ajegule, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So what is the situation like in Ajegule? Are you guys really keeping this isolation and social distancing, or this law is just for us in Aja, Lekki, and Ikoyi, and the rest of it?
Okay, good evening, everyone. And I can tell you for free that when you talk about social distancing, it is not practiced here in Ajegule. You know, situations remain the same. People are still roaming around in the streets ever since this lockdown, was put into place, since last, I think sometime last week, Monday, 11 p.m. So, look at people gathering together, still, living their normal life. As you can see on your screen, can you tell me how this is social distancing? People gathered, you can see a wooden bench at the middle. These are guys playing ping pong, and you see them being surrounded. And this is not social distancing. I can tell you, these people are so ignorant about it. They don't believe in the coronavirus pandemic. There are a lot of people in Ajegule who still don't believe that this virus exists. And they are so ignorant about it. People are living their normal life. You see people still moving around in the streets. The motorcyclists, they are still walking, getting passengers in the streets, and people are still gathering in groups, talking to each other, gisting. They are still handshakes, still, hugging is going around. So people are not really practicing the social distancing thing. It is not working in Ajegule. And I can tell you, if this virus at some point gets into this place, it's going to spread like a wildfire. So social distancing is not working for people in Ajegule. People are still living their normal lives, doing their normal business. They are so ignorant about the coronavirus disease. They believe it doesn't exist. So people are still gathering in mass. Like I mentioned earlier, the bikes are still working, still getting passengers in the streets. So, but, talking about the social distancing and the whole lockdown thing, and let me just take it back to football a bit. And, when this lockdown was, put in place at the earlier stages, if you grow up in Ajegule, you see people trying to take advantage of playing football in the streets. There was one time when environmental sanitation was about coming up. People use that advantage, but, the police has been strict on that. They chase people away from the street. But there's one competition that this pandemic really affects. It is the Ajegule FA Cup. This is one tournament I've been keeping an eye on. It was the debut tournament this year, and it was put to a halt due to this pandemic. It's a brilliant competition, brilliant initiative, and it's competed among people in the streets, among streets. So it was a brilliant initiative that was being put together, but due to this pandemic, it was being put to a halt. The group stages has been played, but the competition sadly couldn't go on as everyone needs to obey the laws put in place by the Lagos State government. Ajegule FA Cup, they are on Twitter. You can follow them on Twitter. and get to see what they are doing. They are Adegunle FA Cup on Twitter. So it's a tournament, a grassroots tournament that I'll be keeping an eye on when this pandemic goes away. So we'll keep an eye on that. And still on football, there's something going on. Odion Igalo made that move to Manchester United in January, and there was supposed to be a grand celebration on Easter Sunday in Ajegunle. It was tagged a dream come true night, as you can see on your screen. It was supposed to happen on Easter Sunday to celebrate Odion Igalo. I believe he's aware of this because people in Ajegunle, they love Odion Igalo so much. It's been celebrated so much in this part of Ajegunle. Whenever United are playing, whenever he scores a goal, the cheer keeps coming on. But this is an initiative for people in Ajegunle. I grew up close to where Odion Igalo grew up, so I know people that stays around there. I know people that live in that vicinity. So dream come true night, but it has been cancelled due to the coronavirus because definitely it's a crowd event. People are going to gather. There's going to be loud music, and everybody is going to cheer up for Igalo. But it's been put on hold, and it's been halted at the moment due to the pandemic. So social distancing is not working in Ajegunle. People are ignorant about the COVID-19 pandemic. They feel it's not in Nigeria at the moment. So I don't know how to convince people about that. But I'm here in my home. I don't engage. I'm practicing social distancing. I don't go out that much. So I just have to take that precaution myself. So I'm doing my bit to convince people around that social distancing.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel Sebastian, for that update. And we really also have to appeal to all the broadcast houses, the government itself, to keep hammering it. I won't blame people that much because this is not something that we were aware of. We didn't plan for it. There was no rehearsals, so it's just happened on us. I can accept that a bit, but people should still try because if it fall on us, we do not have the resources to deal with it. If it happens the way it's happening in Italy and the rest of the places. Now, we have just 4 minutes to the end of this show. But I'm going to go to America, and I save the best for them. Born in USA, they have longer time we're heading into the night. Ayotunde Onobolu, you are my go-to man when it comes to the NBA. Anytime I need somebody to talk to me, you're always the person I go. How has this lockdown, this COVID-19 issue, affected the NBA? Because we start hearing a lot of players in the NBA who had the COVID-19 thing. So run us through what has happened in your neck of the wood.
I mean, there's four levels. There's 4 levels of people affected by COVID-19, and it all starts with the management. Talking about from the commissioner Adam Silver all the way down, and from his own perspective, he and the other management staff have decided to take a pay cut, and the idea behind this is to help ad hoc staff, guys who only would have jobs when games were going on in the different arenas, in order to help them pay some of their salaries. The second level is the level I call the players. They have to start getting ready, according to news, to lose as much as 25% of their salaries, and that's according to the collective bargaining agreement, which is currently in motion. In case of a pandemic like what we're currently experiencing, they would have to lose up to 25% of their salaries. I must give a lot of credit to these players because a good number of them have publicly pledged support, donated millions of dollars in relief funds to help fight the spread of this disease and to help to equip the medical staff in doing exactly what they're doing right now. The third level is the level of the guys who are working at the low level, the members of staff of various teams who, like I said before, ordinarily wouldn't have a job unless games were going on. The NBA community has done so well to ensure that even while people are at home and games are not going on, they still get some money in place to be able to take care of themselves and their families. And the last level is the level I belong to, the fans. It's been torrid. There are no games to watch, nothing much to look forward to. And this is where the ingenuity of the NBA has come into play. They've been showing us games from time past. We've seen a lot of games of Kobe Bryant. We've seen Kevin Garnett in action, Tim Duncan in action, some of these extra games which have come to us. But all these can never measure to real-time, live, competitive basketball. And we are missing it seriously. The pandemic, we don't know how long it's going to last. President Trump had a meeting with the commissioners and the presidents and the heads of the different sports bodies, the NBA, the MLS, the MLB, the NHL, and it was made clear, look, as long as this continues to be, there will be no talks of returning to action. The only time we can return to action is when the medical community in the world gives a go-ahead and says it's now safe. But nobody knows when that is going to be. It's definitely is not going to be in April. It doesn't look like it's going to be in May. Some people are even looking as far ahead as September, October to say there's no chance anything is going to happen. Will the league end now? We don't know, because we are as at the time the shutdown took effect, we're getting ready to go into the playoffs, which should have started in April. So how exactly it's going to pan out from here, nobody knows for sure. But one thing is certain, we just have to continue to be safe for ourselves, for our families, because if we are not alive, nobody's following no sports. It's all about safety right now.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for dropping your contribution on each of the subject that you have to contribute on. Time is not our friends anymore, and we have to run. Well, guys out there, if you're watching this, still keep on with the routine. It has nothing to do with COVID. It's something that we've learned, and we should just keep it. Wash your hand with soap for a longer time. Stay away from public places. Stay at home. If you must go out to go buy things, like I go out to buy fuel, engine oil for my generator, and a few things, I always make sure I keep that social distancing. Get a face mask if you can get it. Get hand gloves if you can get it. And also, guys, if you can help your friends, if you can help people with money, I mean, it doesn't have to be much. Anywhere out there you are in the world, if you can send somebody 1,000 naira, this is the time where 1,000 naira is of a greater value. Some people need it just to buy gari. Ijebu gari and granite is not a rich man food. You know, there are so many things that we can do to support one another. Let's just get it done. For those who work from home, I salute and respect you, because we've learned a new way to work. And for those people too who abide by the not going to church to congregate, but serving from home, following church service online, I salute you all. Until we meet you guys again, stay glued to Elegbete TV YouTube channel. Please do subscribe to our channel so that you can keep us in business. Spread the word, tell people about what we do here, and also support what we do by dropping comments at the bottom to correct us, encourage us, and tell us what you think we should improve on, content that you think we should bring on. I remain Elegbete Matthew Esiogene, and it's been City Chat with Ayotunde Onobolu, Precious Omosuwe, Precious Omori, Oluwatobi Dada, Bossing Expert, Princess Dumebi Adu, and the man who I call the expert in grassroots, and also the man who knows every Nigerian footballer playing abroad. If you meet him anytime, follow him on Twitter, he will tell you. Emmanuel Sebastian. Thank you, everybody, for being on the show. As I say, bye-bye.